Hey guys, welcome to the MangaMark channel. Today I am doing my thoughts, theories, questions about One Piece and the world of One Piece. I've done a couple of these videos before, like at important points in the story. I have just finished Dressrosa, if you're new to the channel. So at this point I have some thoughts on some things that we found out at the end of the arc there, or some things that are kind of sticking in my head from the series that, I want to make it clear to you guys what I'm thinking at this point, and then obviously some questions from you so I can give my thoughts on it and give you a better understanding, like I said, where my head's at on specific things in One Piece and what I think is going to happen going forward. So yeah, that is the crux of it, right? So this video is just going to be me talking. If you're new to the channel, I am watching One Piece for the first time. Like I said, just finished Dressrosa, so I'm doing the reactions on the channel. But this is after such a big arc that we had there with Dressrosa, this is a really good time to do one of these. Before we jump into the next one, I'm watching the filler right now in my own time, and we are kind of getting ready to go into, I'm excited to see the rest of the crew again, to be honest with you, because we've been separated for so long in that arc. But yeah, the first thing I'm going to jump into, right? Oh, sorry. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Everyone that has comes back, watches, comments, likes all these videos. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Now, the first thing I want to jump into, just because it's fresh in my mind because of the end of the arc there, is Sanji's wanted poster, right? So we got the new bounties, but for some reason Sanji's wanted poster only alive. What does that mean? Okay, now I threw out something in the video when it was first kind of popped out there, and it was Sanji having something to do with the Celestial Dragons. I do not want this to be true, right? I hope it isn't that. But I never expected Doflamingo to be a Celestial Dragon. That was not on my bingo card, right? That was a crazy reveal that we got in Dressrosa. So if Doflamingo is a Celestial Dragon, what do we know about Sanji? That's the thing. Like, Sanji was just on a cruise ship as like a chef, as like a young kid. His parents have never been spoke about. Zeph raised them, I know that, but how did he end up on that ship? So, even because like people said to me, when I threw this suggestion out there, people said, you've got to remember that Sanji's from the North Blue. I get that. I do understand that. I remember because obviously the Nolan stuff and things like that. But the Celestial Dragons get around. They get around. Like, we've seen Celestial Dragons at Luffy's hometown in the flashback. We've seen them at Fishman Island. We've seen them at Sabodi. Well, that's not far for them to travel, but you know what I mean. They go around to all the world government affiliated countries. So, there could be something there. Maybe if not a Celestial Dragon, maybe he is related to like nobility of like a country in the oh no way is it got right. Wait a minute, because he said that he heard the story about Nolan when he was young. Right, different suggestion. I'm gonna have a different prediction. Okay, so maybe not a Celestial Dragon. Maybe he is descended from the nobility of, I can't remember the country, right? But the country in the North Blue where Noland is from. And we in Law's flashback, we saw Law and Corazon there because we saw the palace in the background. That was the same as in the picture book, and Cricket had it on Jaya. Right? That's the new prediction. Maybe, I don't think he's like actual, like in the line of success. I think he's maybe like like a bastard child of one of the nobles from that country? Because if not, like if people knew about him, like how would he end up as a chef on a cruise ship? I think maybe it's something like that. Maybe he is like a bastard child that people have tried to kind of just tuck out the way, get rid of him. It's going to be something like that. I cannot think of another reason why he would have only alive on his poster. It has to be to do with someone in power. Because who else has the ability to make that a thing other than the world government? They create the bounties. They put out the wanted posters. Who in that world, besides nobility or celestial dragons, has the authority to turn around and say, I want him alive? So, and that's, you know, because like I said, like we know nothing about Sanji. Everybody else in the crew, we kind of have an idea of how they grew up. Sanji and Zoro. Sanji and Zoro are kind of a mystery in terms of like their parents. And even with the other ones, even if we don't know their parents, we kind of know what happened to them. You know? Because like Sanji was just a kid on a cruise ship. That's all we know. Anything before that, nothing. Zoro was just a kid at a dojo. We know nothing about his family or how he ended up there. So those two are a mystery. Luffy, we know the full story now because of the flashback after Marineford. Usopp was raised by his mum in his village. No issues there. Nami was found as a baby on the battlefield by Belmere. No problems there. We saw Chopper as a baby and like get rejected by his reindeer parents, and then Kirilluk and everything. So everything happened on Drum. Robin, I'm not going to, my usual, every time I've done these, I've held on to the fact that I keep hoping that like this was before the Ace reveal, but that Goldie Roger was going to be Robin's dad. Probably not now, but I'm still going to hang on to it so that if it does happen, I can say that I called it, right? So I'm still keeping that one. But you know what I mean? Like we know that her family are all on Ohara. She was raised by, even though we know who her mum is, you know, we know that she was raised by relatives on Ohara all her life before what happened, right? So no problem there. Frankie, we know that he was abandoned by his parents and taken in as a child by Tom, but he was on like a pirate ship before that. So that's been stated to us. Brook, well, you can kind of say the same Brook as well. Like Brook, that we don't really know much about Brook prior to him becoming part of, I think he said he was he like a mercenary? I can't remember. It was something before he became a pirate. He stated it when he was telling us about it. He was something and then became a pirate, but we haven't seen Brook as a kid. But I don't think there's going to be any crazy reveals there. I don't think it was much of a, much shock. Brook's big reveal was Laboon. That was Brook's reveal, right? I don't think there's going to be anything popping up from Brook's childhood because it was so long ago, right? Nobody from Brook's childhood is alive today. Like, I can't see anybody popping up that's going to give us any shockers there. So, that's it. So, those two, Sanji and Zoro, and it looks as if we might be going to jump into like Sanji's actual background, which I'm very excited for. But that's my prediction, okay? Sanji is from nobility in the North Blue. I don't know the name of the country, but if I have to nail down a country, I'm going to say the one that Nolan's from. Okay, so just keep that there. Now, before I get into the specific questions that you guys wanted me to talk about, I'm going to just name you the things that I want to know. Okay, so here are the things that in my mind, anytime I get a little bit of information about in the series, I want more of it. Or these are the things I'm most curious about, okay? The big ones, the Void Century, right? We don't know much, but the Void Century is what I'd like to know. And kind of tying into that, the Will of D. The Will of D and what the situation is there. Anytime, oh God, Dressrosa was so, they hinted at it so many times. You know, Law, Corazon, Doflamingo, Sengoku at the end there. Every one of them kept giving me a little, as if they were going to give me something, and then didn't. So I really want to know more about the family of D, let's call them. Because we know now that it is a specific family. And something happened during the Void Century. So we'll need to wait and see what's happening there. Just give me more, okay? In terms of more specific things in the series, I would say what the situation is with Kuma. That one is thing with me because Kuma, why did he do what he did? Like, why did he become like a weapon and like all the pacifistas and that for the world government? Now that we know more about Kuma, considering his relationship with the Revolutionary Army and the fact that what he did for us, not only on Thriller Bark, but on Subodhi. What is the situation with Kuma? I'm so curious. And then him protecting the ship. Even after he lost his personality, Kuma's done so much for us. But why did he do that? Why has he done that for the world government? Vegapunk, there's going to be something to do with Vegapunk, right? But why? Why would he do it? Even like Ivankov, who's known him such a long time, you know, he spoke about it on Marineford, he didn't know anything about it. So he didn't know that Kuma was going to do that. I don't know if Dragon maybe knows more, because he said that to Ivankov on the call. He's like, listen, I've got a lot to talk to you about Kuma. So what's the situation going to be there? And I know for a fact that it's going to devastate me. Like, that is one. I know nothing about Kuma other than the Revolutionary Army stuff. I know nothing about his past. And I can tell you right now, I know that Oda is going to play with my emotions with that one. I can see a gut punch coming a mile away. I know that backstory is going to get me, right? When I find out what Kuma is all about and why he did what he did, I know it's going to devastate me. I know it. You know, I already love his character, just based on what I've seen of him. So when I get his story, I'm both excited to find out more about him and scared because I know it's going to just crush me, right? So that's one. I was thinking about, obviously, Joy Boy. This maybe ties into the Void Century thing because the timeline adds up there. Like Joy Boy and the situation there with Fishman Island, and even like the prophecy from Charlie about Luffy and about Fishman Island. That's still kind of swirling there. Because there's going to be something. Oda's going to throw a twist in there. He's going to throw a twist. It's all going to come back, and I guess there's no way Luffy's going to willingly destroy Fishman Island, right? I feel like there's going to be a situation where she's read it. Something's going to happen to Fishman Island and Luffy's going to show up to save it. It's going to be on fire like she saw in the vision, and then Luffy's going to appear, right? Because he declared it his territory. Okay? What was the other one I was thinking of there? Some of the kind of background, some of the characters are a given. Like, I'd like to know more about the supernovas, but what's the situation with Bonnie? Because with Bonnie, I'm still, like, the fact she got away from Akainu, which in itself I'm kind of like, okay, but what was the deal with her? Like, she was, like, the way she was reacting at Marineford, like, who was she angry at? Like, she was devastated, and then, but I don't think it's Luffy, because we just saw her there after Dressrosa, and the way she was reacting to kind of like Luffy and Law, was kind of like, oh, like my, my rivals are like blah blah. So if it was one of them that she was angry at, I don't think she'd be having that reaction. So something else or somebody else at Marineford caused her to act that way. So I don't know if she maybe had a connection with Ace, and it was just maybe Akainu she was directing her anger at. I don't know, because I feel like that would have been clarified more like once she was face to face with him. But yeah, and then there's Aokiji. What's going on with Aokiji? Like, my thoughts are he is definitely undercover. I do not think he's left the Marines. I do not think he's left the Marines. I think he is with Blackbeard on an undercover mission. Because what possible motive could Aokiji have for working with Blackbeard? And in that sense, I feel like I need to get Aokiji's backstory. Because we don't really know much about the admirals either. So give me some admiral backstories and how they ended up the way that they did. And then the biggest character, the biggest mystery for me is Dragon. What's the deal with Dragon? What compelled the son of a hero of the Marines to become the leader of the Revolutionary Army? And in that same vein, who's Luffy's mum? Because I feel like that'll play a factor in it. The fact that there's been no mention. So those are the things that are kind of floating around there, okay? Those are the things where I'm like, I need more information to try and kind of throw thoughts out there on these things. But let's see what you guys have kind of said to me that you want me to kind of discuss here, and then I'll jump into some of these topics. Maybe even some of the things I just mentioned there will come into play into some of these, because I haven't, I kind of put them to the side and didn't give them too much thought, because I want to give my immediate kind of answer and kind of work it out on camera. So, okay, first one, right? This is a kind of fun one to start it off with. Bounty predictions for the Emperors, right? Okay, so I have no frame of reference here, because I don't think we've ever gotten an Emperor bounty, have we? No, definitely not. We've gotten like the bounties of like some of the warlords before they became warlords. So, right, if you're looking at Emperors, so who would have the highest? Well, I think that definitely, before he passed away, Whitebeard must have been number one, right? I know that technically, like, they refer to Dragon as like the most wanted man in the world. He's not a pirate, right? So he's not a pirate, so I don't know what his bounty would be. It'd probably be something crazy, right? But in terms of the Emperors, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a number out for Whitebeard, right? For when he was alive, obviously. I'm going to throw a number out for Whitebeard, and then I'm going to work my way down after that. So what's Luffy in law right now? 500 million after Dressrosa. So I think the Emperors are definitely going to be above $1 billion. I think they're going to, because that leaves us some room, because like when you think about it, Luffy and Law, I was going to say they're technically rookies, but are they really though at this point after what they've done? So no, I wouldn't say they were rookies anymore. So I'm gonna, because they're in the new world now. I don't think you can be a rookie in the new world, can you? I'd say rookie is more like a term for people that on that first part of the Grand Line. So, but I leave a bit of room. So $1 billion, and you need to give like, because there's going to be like people that have been in the new world for a long time that aren't quite emperors. So are going to be in that kind of stretch. Like when you think of like even like people in like the Emperor's crew, so like what is someone like a Marco? What's his bounty going to be? Something crazy, right? So I need to give a bit of room in between, so that Luffy and that can still get up there. So I'm going to say Whitebeard. I'm going to say 2. I want to go as high as... Right. I'm going to say Whitebeard, 2.5 billion. Okay? Hopefully we get Whitebeards. And they don't just give me... like the current Emperors. Because why... like... I'm hoping like maybe even in like an SBS... down the line, you guys can let me know when I'm at that point, if it happens, if we do get, like if Oda does elaborate on what Whitebeard's bounty was. So 2.5 billion for Whitebeard. The next down from him, I'm going to guess it would be Kaido. Just based on the description the narrator gave him there as he was introduced. I just met Kaido. I'm going to say 2 billion, right? I'm going even 2 billion for Kaido. Then next, Big Mom. So Big Mom, Shanks, and Blackbeard. Like Blackbeard's the new one, so I'm going to put Blackbeard will probably be at the bottom, right? Shanks is the youngest. And I think that Big Mom's going to be... because Shanks isn't going to be out there doing atrocious things. And like that. In fact, the fact that what still sticks in my mind is, what's the situation with Shanks? Like that statement from Sengoku, when Shanks showed up at Marineford. When he said, like, since it's you. You're just kind of like, why would you say that? Like... So... I don't know if it's probably because like Shanks has like a, like maybe even like the Marines know, like, yeah, he's not a bad guy. Well, certain ones, maybe like Sengoku and that, but like Ake, I don't think, he just hears the word pirate. And it's just like, yeah, kill them. So, I'm going to say Big Mom, 1 point, what did I say for Kaido, 2 million? 500 million shy of, right, okay. Whitebeard, 2.5 billion for Whitebeard. Kaido, 2.2 billion. Big Mom, 2 billion. Shanks, 1.8 billion. Blackbeard, oh, what would you give Blackbeard? He's like a brand new emperor. But then what he did at Marineford, and now he has Whitebeard's Devil Fruit. What he did at Impel Down. What did I say? So Big Mom 2, Shanks, 1.8 I said. Blackbeard, 1.5 billion. Okay? Those are my bounties. Whitebeard, 2.5 billion. Kaido, 2.2 billion. Big Mom, 2 billion. Shanks, 1.8. Blackbeard, 1.5. Those are the bounty predictions for the Emperors, okay? So, that's that. What position or positions do you think the Straw Hats have yet to fill? I don't know, really. Because, like, when I started this series, right, and if you said to me, Mark, name me what positions do you think you would have on, like, a pirate, like an old pirate ship? Well, like, captain, vice captain, navigator. You throw the ones out there that they can be used profession as well, like doctor, chef, musician. Like, I wouldn't even have said musician. I only knew that was going to happen because Luffy kept speaking about it. But if there was one, like shipwright, okay, makes sense. If there was one that I would never have guessed, would be archaeologist. So at this point, I think they can do what they want in this world, really. I don't think it's got to follow like the real world positions of a ship. What I do want to see is a fishman. I don't know what position that Jimbei would hold on the crew, but just having a fishman on the crew, that's why I'm holding out hope. I know he said that he would. I really pray that it happens. I hope it's not another VV and the rug gets, pulled from underneath me. I want Jimbei to join the crew, because just having Jimbei for like underwater, whatever, like how many devil fruit users do we have on the crew? Luffy, Chopper, Robin, Brook. 4. Nearly half the crew has devil fruits. If the ship gets sunk or something happens and we're in the water, that's 4 anchors. Everyone's panicking, maybe fighting, whatever the case may be. Having a fishman there. How many times did Jimbei save us, during Impel Down and Marineford? Having a fishman there that can get us in the water, God, that's just so handy. In terms of like a position, maybe like a young apprentice on the ship, like a Shanks and Buggy were on Roger's crew. I can't think what young characters have we had that could maybe fill that role. I can't really think of much throughout the series. Isa? Someone like Isa, Isa had really good observation hacking actually, she'd be quite good. But, you think we've got Momo who's on the ship right now, but I don't think, and that's another thing that I want to know about, is what's the situation with the samurai, with Kaido and Doflamingo? What's the story there? There's more to this. So I don't think that Momo is going to have, he's not going to join the crew or anything like that, having Kinemon. I think there's going to be a story to tell there regarding the samurai. It's going to be to do with Wano, obviously. So I think that they're leading into that story. Very much similar to Vivi. We picked Vivi up at Whiskey Peak, and she was with us until we got to Alabasta to tell that story. So yeah, maybe a young apprentice on the ship. I can't really think of anything else. I'm sorry, I wish I had a better answer for that one. I wish I knew more kind of pirate positions, but I honestly cannot think of any. So we've got, let me just see if I've got this right. Okay, right, sorry. What role do you think the warlords will play in the story going forward? Pre-time skip, they were a big part of driving the plot and mystery, and meeting a new warlord was a huge part of arcs. But now that they've all been fleshed out, except for the one that we haven't seen yet, and knowing that Fujitora talked about abolishing them, what role do you see the group as a whole serving narratively as the series continues? It's a good question. Now, I think that if Fujitora didn't do what he did in Dressrosa, what would have happened is absolutely nothing. That would have been swept under the rug. The world government would have replaced Doflamingo with someone else, maybe one of the supernovas or someone that's making waves in the new world. They would have been replaced. Law would have been replaced as well, sorry. And we would have just moved on. But now that Fujitora's done that, and the news has been spread everywhere about what happened, I don't know. Could I see them actually being abolished? Maybe. Maybe, because Fujitora as an admiral, he has he's a high position in the Marines. I don't think Aki Inu is... if I were to wager it, like, I don't think Aki Inu is a big fan of the warlords. You know, just based on his like sense of justice and the way he views pirates, I'm like, even though he was really angry at what Fujitora did because of the way it made the world government look and like the Marines look, I think he could probably be on board with getting rid of the warlords. What I think would happen going forward with that is, when you think about it, oh man, actually, do you know what? It would actually be really funny because Buggy just became a warlord. So, if they do get abolished and Buggy just got that sense of security from like the world government of being a warlord, and then it gets took away from him, that would be hilarious. It's going to happen. That's it. It's going to happen now. They're getting abolished, right? Buggy is going to, he's going to be devastated. So I can see it happening. And if it does happen, I'm curious like how that's going to play into me finding out about the last one that I haven't seen yet. But like when you think about it, you think about the warlords, right? If they do get abolished, the only one I'm concerned about if they do get abolished would be Hancock, because she has that title to protect her home. Like she has it there to protect her home. Whereas the rest, you know, Mihawk, I don't see him being fazed by it. You know, I think he would be quite happy. Like, if they know where he lives, I think he'd be quite happy just to be like, okay, well, see you later. And he'll just go back into the world and become a pirate again. He's that strong that he doesn't have to worry about what the world government's going to do to him, right? So I don't think Mihawk would be fazed. Buggy devastated, like I said. Who's left? Like now that Doflamingo's been taken down, who do we have left? The one we haven't seen yet. It was Doflamingo and Law, so we know what's happening there. Like they're not gonna, like Law's not worried. We know what he's gonna do. One we haven't seen, those two. Mihawk, Hancock, Buggy. Is Kuma still like he's lost his personality? Is he still classed up? Like he's the other one, isn't he? Warlord. So Kuma's not got a personality anymore. So yeah, they probably will get abolished. And in that sense, I'm worried about Hancock and about Amazon Lily, because I don't see, because it's the Campbell and they can take care of themselves, but like I can't see like pirates and people like that going after them. But the world government itself, because it's very well known where she is, and they can get there because of their ships and things like that. So that worries me. I hope it doesn't come to that, just because of that reason. But yeah, I can't see it. And I think it would be very interesting to see them getting abolished, to see what happens in the world, to see, you know, like to see Buggy's reaction first and foremost, and to see Mihawk like going out and becoming a pirate again. And we might actually bump into him and be able to get that. Like, would him and Zoro even have, like, after what happened? Because Zoro kind of threw his pride to the side to ask him to train him. So would Mihawk, like, probably, yeah, because he knows that Zoro wants to be the best. So I think he would go all out against Zoro to have that. He wants that. He wants that fight. So yeah, I can see it. I can see it happening. Now this one is in reference to when the Grand Fleet was formed. It showed me the manga panel there of the celebration, and when the narrator was speaking. So the question here is, the narrator in every translation at that scene states that the fleet, as in the 7 captains in their own exclusive existence, will cause a great incident in the future. Not react to, respond to, or be a part of along with others, but that they will cause whatever it is. With next to nothing to go on, any ideas what that could be? See, that's the thing, like, the way that narrator kind of said it is, it was very rare for the narrator to kind of give foreshadowing. Like I said in the video, like, the only other time I've really seen him like do something like that was with Ace and Blackbeard's fight. And he spoke about kind of like the impact that it would have on the world. I don't really know, like, in terms of, because like it gave us no indication of if it was going to be them separate from Luffy that were going to cause a stir, or if it was individually they were going to do things. It's tough because when you think of them, they're very much all over the place. You know, we've got like the Hapo Navy out there, you know, they're on different seas, you know, obviously Leo and them are on Dressrosa. I don't know where, like, I'm guessing Bartolomeo and his crew are just like doing the same as Luffy and just like, are all over the place. I'd love to see Harridan actually like get Dory and Brogy and Oimo and Kashi to come back and like become part of their crew. Oh man, that would be awesome. Like to have like them be part of the Grand Fleet as well, the giant pirates. That would be great. But I really don't know. I feel like it's going to be an incident where Luffy needs them, or like they need each other and they have to band together and they cause this big incident. Maybe when we're going up against one of the emperors. That's all I've got. Like I cannot think of anything else that could bring it. Because like I'm thinking maybe when we go up against, like, let's say Kaido, if he's anything like Whitebeard, he's going to have allies, he's going to have loads of subordinates, and we've already seen a little glimpse that maybe Drake is now under Kaido. I mean, like, Doflamingo was under Kaido. Doflamingo, he was like the king of like the underworld in like the New World. So these emperors are going to have subordinates. I'm thinking maybe Shanks has got just like his small crew, or maybe like maybe you know, do you know what? I can see maybe Shanks having allies out there just because of his nature, similar to Whitebeard. So maybe not that, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe the Grand Fleet has to kind of step in to help us out somehow. If it's separate from Luffy, I really don't know. I really can't guess what it could be. But I'm looking forward to it. The fact that, you know, it's opened up the possibilities, which, with the question earlier about the positions on the Straw Hats, now that the Grand Fleet's a thing, I'm so excited because, like, instead of me hoping and praying, like, oh, we're going to get a new crew member, I can think, are they going to maybe want to join the Grand Fleet and come under the Straw Hat banner? So that's exciting. That's exciting. But yeah, I can't think of like anything else that it could be. But I'm excited for it. Like, the way the narrator set it up and spoke about it, I was like, okay, can't wait. Can't wait to find out more about this. This one here. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts, theories about Devil Fruit awakenings, as we now know of 5 confirmed awakened Devil Fruits, the 4 jailers from Impel Down and Doflamingo. Like, how do you think they are achieved? How they change your powers, etc. Also, do you think that any other character we have already seen had an awakened Devil Fruit, similar to how Haki was introduced relatively early pre-time skip, but didn't have a name? Yeah, see, that's a tricky one for me, because I do believe that there have been devil fruits that we've seen that have awakened, because I think they're going to be very different depending on the type, right? Now, my understanding of it, just based on Doflamingo and the way I was talking about like what Luffy's awakened devil fruit could be, because of Paramecia, is that Paramecias are very much like, you know, they much better control over their ability, and they're able to, whatever their ability is, they're able to affect the world around them with that property. So Doflamingo turning bloody buildings and the town into strings, I'm thinking in terms of, like, if you're using Luffy as an example, that he could do that but with rubber. So he could, like, you know, he could be turning the ground into like a bouncy castle, you know, buildings into rubber, something like that, right? For Paramecia, I don't think we've seen any other Paramecia that's already awakened. Now, what I will say is, I think that the Logia awakening is going to be much more subtle. I think that Logia awakening is basically just much better control over the element and becoming one with the element, essentially. Now, when I say that, what I mean is, I believe that we've seen a bunch of people that are Logias that probably have already awakened. The three admirals, for example, Kizaru, Akainu, Aokiji. I think they've probably awakened. Crocodile, maybe? You know, like the things that Crocodile could do with his devil fruit were insane. In Alabasta and in like Impel Down, things like that. You know, like he was turning like doors into sand and things, like he's, you know, dehydrating people. He's just, he has like, and even though like back then you think of like Luffy managing to beat him if he had an awakened Logia, but like I'm saying, I don't think it's as crazy as like a Paramecia awakening. I think it's just they get so much control over it, and plus Luffy like died twice, nearly 3 times. Luffy like had to take so many opportunities to beat Crocodile back then, so it wasn't as if like he took him out like like second gear with no struggle. Like that, we would have died if it wasn't for Robin, if it wasn't like Robin twice with the antidote and in the desert where he left us to die, and then the stroke of luck with the water, like the second time on the rooftop. So Crocodile, so the 3 admirals probably, Crocodile, maybe Enel, because in the same kind of sense, the only reason we beat Enel was because Luffy was rubber. And the things that Enel could do, you know, the control he had over that ability, you know, the guy jump-started his heart after he was taken out, you know, like, but even just that, like how he could just become, you know, lightning. Yeah, definitely. Those 5, I think, probably. I think Logia is like, until it's stated to me, this person has awakened a devil fruit, we're not going to know, because it's not been confirmed to have seen a Logia awakening. So, yeah, I'm going to go with them. I think they definitely have. And, like, the Logia awakenings are just harder to spot. I think, like I was saying, they just can control it much better. In terms of the zones, you know, with the jailers, like the way it was explained to me, like you guys kind of explained it as, the reason that they are the way that they are is because they kind of like, I think it depends on the person. I think that the jailers, you guys said that if you get an awakening, because you've got the personality of like the animal, and you're becoming one. My understanding of awakening is you're becoming one with the devil fruit. You're kind of you're getting a much deeper understanding of it, and you are able to control those abilities just much better. Whereas the zone, the problem with that is that you are becoming an animal essentially, right? And the way you guys kind of explained it to me was that the animal pair, if you're awakening as a zone and you're becoming one with the animal form, that the animal form can kind of take over, right? So that's why the jailers and Impelled Down have the intelligence of animals, right? So it's kind of, so the way that's been described to me then, it makes me think that the zone fruits are kind of a double-edged sword. Like the awakening could render you like a dud, basically. Even though they were strong, but you know what I mean? Like, if you do not have the mental fortitude to control that, and the animal takes over, then that's it, it's game over. Whereas, if someone has a zone fruit and they're able to connect, I don't have a clue what an awakening would look like. And with a zone user who is able to retain their sanity after awakening. I'm trying to think of like people who have seen that are zones. So you've got Dalton and Drum as a zone. You've got Pell and Chaka and Alabasta. Could they do it? CP9, a bunch of CP9 members, like Luce, Kaku, Jabra. So maybe like if there's going to be anybody, probably Luce and Kaku, I could see doing it. Like, because we just saw them coming back there as like CP0. So, you know, and obviously if you awaken it, then you know that if someone's botched a zone awakening with the fact that they're going to look like the ones from Impelled Down, like a weird hybrid of human animal, and the animal is going to be the personality. Like we saw like a koala, like just, you know, with the tongue out, going about with a club, that there. So what a zone awakening would look like, I don't know, because if Luce or like Kaku had achieved that, the fact that we're seeing them in their human form makes me think probably not. But then I don't know, like I don't know if you get an awakening with a zone fruit, can you still go in and out of that form as you please? This is the thing. Does it unlock more forms? Kind of like Chopper with when he had the Rumble Ball. You know? Because is that technically a zone? Wait a minute. Is that a zone? It's like human fruit. So yeah, I would class that as a zone fruit. So like maybe that there. Maybe Chopper, by inventing that Rumble Ball, just kind of like said, right, okay, I'm just gonna. So it's like, no, there's no way. I was gonna say like Chopper like awakened his devil fruit, like, because when you think about it, it's technically kind of like that, because like the giant form, he lost control, but now he has control in that form. So maybe that is what an awakened zone fruit is that it gives you more forms, you become one with the animal, you can control it better, like I was saying, but you still retain, you're in control. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So I don't know, like I don't know until we're obviously going to see it. Now that, because it was the same with Haki. As soon as the term Haki was thrown out there, Oda started fleshing it out and giving us examples, and then he was more clear about showing us when Haki was being used or when Haki events were taking place. So now that awakening is a thing, we're going to, I think he's going to be like, right, he might even throw some things out there, like I've said, like to make it clear, these people that you met in the past, they have awakened. Or, oh, this person that we see now, that's a zone fruit user, has, oh, this is their awakened form, or whatever the case may be. Because we got that kind of like, once Haki was revealed down the line, he did that to explain, I think it was it when he was fighting like Buttercup, Sentomaru on Sabodi, that he kind of like, I think Luffy kind of realised when he was using observation Haki, you got a little flash, and that was like Oda telling you, yeah, the things that we saw back on Skypiea, the mantra, that was Haki, but we just didn't, you know, like you couldn't know it back then. So that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on it. But yeah, guys, thanks for the questions. Thanks so much for the questions. Like those are my thoughts right now on One Piece. If you guys have any more questions that you'd like me to kind of elaborate on, I can maybe like squeeze something in at the end of one of the reaction videos. So if there's anything I didn't speak about here that you want to hear my thoughts on, or whatever, you know, just throw a comment in. Throw a comment on the video and I'll try and get to it, you know, at the end of maybe one of the videos, and have a little discussion. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video and you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Everyone that has comes back, watches, comments, likes all these videos. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.